I got lavish rewards from the Lord of the Danes for my part in the battle, beaten gold and much else. Once morning came and we took our place at the banquet table. There was singing and excitement. An old reciter, a carrier of stories, recalled the early days. At times, some hero made the timbered harp tremble with sweetness, or related true and tragic happenings. At times, the king gave the proper turn to some fantastic tale, or a battle-scarred veteran, bowed with age, would begin to remember the martial deeds of his youth and prime, and be overcome as the past welled up in his wintry heart. We were happy there the whole day long, and enjoyed our time until another night descended upon us. Then, suddenly, the vehement mother avenged her son and wreaked destruction. Death had robbed her. Geats had slain Grendel, so his ghastly dam struck back. With bare-faced defiance laid a man low. Thus life departed from the sage Eshere, an elder wise in council. But afterwards, on the morning following, the Danes could not burn the dead body, nor they lay the remains of the man they loved on his funeral pyre. She had fled with the corpse, and taken refuge beneath torrents on the mountain. It was a hard blow for Hrothgar to bear, harder than any he had undergone before. And so the heartsore king beseeched me in your royal name to take my chances under water, to win glory and prove my worth.
He promised me rewards, hence, as well known, I went to my encounter with the terror-monger at the bottom of the tarn. For a while it was hand to hand between us, then blood went curling along the currents, and I beheaded Grendel's mother in the hall with a mighty sword. I barely managed to escape with my life. My time had not yet come, but Halfdane's heir, the shelter of those earls, again endowed me with gifts in abundance. Thus the king acted with due custom. I was paid and recompensed completely, given full measure and the freedom to choose from Hrothgar's treasures by Hrothgar himself. These, King Hygelac, I am happy to present you as gifts. It is still upon your grace that all favor depends. I have few kinsmen who are close, my king, except for your kind self. Then he ordered the boar-framed standard to be brought, the battle-topping helmet, the mail shirt gray of hoarfrost, and the precious war sword, and proceeded with this speech. When Hrothgar presented this war gear to me, he instructed me, my lord, to give you some account of why it signifies his special favor. He said it had belonged to his older brother, King Harogar, who had long kept it, but that Harogar had never bequeathed it to his son Harrowweird, that worthy sign, loyal as he was. Enjoy it well.
I heard 4 horses were handed over next. Beowulf bestowed 4 bay steeds to go with the armor, swift gallopers all alike. So ought a kinsman act, instead of plotting and planning in secret to bring people to grief, or conspiring to arrange the death of comrades. The warrior king was uncle to Beowulf, and honored by his nephew. Each was concerned for the other's good. I heard he presented Hildegard with a gorget, the priceless torque that the prince's daughter Wealthrow had given him, and 3 horses, supple creatures, brilliantly saddled. The bright necklace would be luminous on Hyged's breast.
Thus Beowulf bore himself with valor. He was formidable in battle, yet behaved with honor and took no advantage. Never cut down a comrade who was drunk, kept his temper, and, warrior that he was, watched and controlled his God-sent strength and his outstanding natural powers. He had been poorly regarded for a long time, and was taken by the Geats for less than he was worth. And their lord, too, had never much esteemed him in the mead hall. They firmly believed that he lacked force, that the prince was a weakling, but presently every affront to his deserving was reversed. The battle-famed king, bulwark of his earls, ordered a gold-chased heirloom of Hethres to be brought in. It was the best example of a gem-studded sword in the treasury. Thus he laid on Beowulf's lap and then rewarded him with land as well, 7,000 hides, and a hall and a throne. Both owned land by birth in that country, ancestral grounds, but the greater right and sway were inherited by the higher born.
A lot was to happen in later days in the fury of battle. Hygelac fell, and the shelter of Heardred's shield proved useless against the fierce aggressions of the Scylfings, ruthless swordsmen, seasoned campaigners. They came against him and his conquering nation, and with cruel force cut him down, so that afterwards the wide kingdom reverted to Beowulf. He ruled it well for 50 winters, grew old and wise as warden of the land, until one began to dominate the dark, a dragon on the prowl from the steep vaults of a stone-roofed barrow where he guarded a hoard. There was a hidden passage, unknown to men, but someone managed to enter by it and interfere with the heathen trove. He had handled and removed a gem-studded goblet. It gained him nothing, though with the thief's wiles he had outwitted the sleeping dragon. That drove him into a rage, as the people of that country would soon discover.
The intruder who broached the dragon's treasure and moved him to wrath had never meant to. It was desperation on the part of a slave, fleeing the heavy hand of some master, guilt-ridden and on the run, going to ground. But he soon began to shake with terror. In shock, the wretch panicked and ran away with the precious metalwork. There were many other heirlooms heaped inside the earth house, because long ago, with deliberate care, somebody now forgotten had buried the riches of a high-born race in this ancient cache. Death had come and taken them all in times gone by, and the only one left to tell their tale, the last of their line, could look forward to nothing but the same fate for himself. He foresaw that his joy in the treasure would be brief.
A newly constructed barrow stood waiting on a wide headland close to the waves, its entryway secured. Into it, the keeper of the hoard had carried all the goods and golden ware worth preserving. His words were few. Now, earth, hold what earls once held, and heroes can no more. It was mine from you first by honorable men. My own people have been ruined in war. One by one they went down to death, looked their last on sweet life in the hall. I am left with nobody to bear a sword or burnish plated goblets, put a sheen on the cup. The companies have departed. The hard helmet, hasped with gold, will be stripped of its hoops, and the helmet shiner who should polish the metal of the war mask sleeps. The coat of mail that came through all fights, through shield collapse and cut of sword, decays with the warrior. Nor may webbed mail range far and wide on the warlock's back, beside his mustered troops. No trembling harp, no tuned timbre, no tumbling hawk swerving through the hall, no swift horse pawing the courtyard. Pillage and slaughter have emptied the earth of entire peoples. And so he mourned as he moved about the world, deserted and alone, lamenting his unhappiness day and night, until death's flood brimmed up in his heart.